Her lawyer said she was too pretty for prison. In the end, maybe she was. Notorious woman number 9 is Deborah LaFave. June 21st, 2004, Temple Terrace, Florida. 23-year-old married schoolteacher Deborah LaFave had a date with her 14-year-old student. When LaFave arrived at the boy's house, police were waiting with handcuffs.
She was married to a good-looking guy who probably the next step was to have kids, and she was not ready for that. So she felt more developmentally in sync with this 14-year-old student than she did with being an adult.
The relationship started, I guess, kind of innocent at school, and she was kind of looking out for him, and she had invited them over to our townhome along with his cousin. They actually took him into our bedroom where she proceeded to have oral sex with him.
What really shocked everybody is, at the time, Deborah LaFave had a very loving husband in Owen LaFave, who was just as surprised by her antics and about what happened in this case.
I think the best way to describe it is a sense of shock. Nothing in life can prepare you for a moment like that when you hear your wife has just had a sexual relationship with one of her students and has been arrested for it.
When she was taken into custody, Deborah's relationship with the boy ended, and the media circus began. Every news story seemed to include bikini photos from LaFave's younger days.
She was, a model, had done some modeling, and those pictures in particular were for a magazine that was locally published.
Bottom line, Deborah LaFave was a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. So I think that's why she created such a stir.
Deborah LaFave was charged with 2 counts of lewd and lascivious battery. LaFave pled not guilty.
Each count is punishable with up to 15 years in prison, so she could have spent a tremendous amount of time in jail.
As prosecutors prepared their case, Deborah and her lawyers offered a deal. She would change her plea to guilty in exchange for no jail time. The prosecution wouldn't budge, and things got worse for LaFave.
Because of the laws in Florida, there was going to be no way to keep the public from hearing the sordid details of this case.
According to court documents, Deborah and her 14-year-old victim began flirting in May 2004. A week after the school year ended, the sex began. Those closest to Deborah noticed a change in her behavior.
She became a different person. She all of a sudden started smoking. She started listening to rap music, which she never liked previously. She started dressing provocatively and definitely inappropriate for school. I mean, it was literally waking up one morning and not knowing who was in the bed next to him.
3 weeks into the affair, the victim's aunt spotted her 14-year-old nephew with LaFave and told the boy's mother. The concerned mom called police. She helped then set up Deborah's arrest. Initially, Deborah's husband supported his wife.
I made the decision to stand by her side. I told her that I would stay with her through the criminal trial because I didn't want our divorce to impact the outcome of the case.
According to papers filed with the court, Deborah's lawyers planned an insanity defense.
Once anyone reads what the doctors have to say, they will understand a lot more about what happened here.
Her lawyers felt that one of the diagnoses that was plausible was bipolar disorder.
The week before the trial was set to start, the prosecution surprised everyone. At the request of the victim's mother, they accepted Deborah's original plea deal.
The victim's mother was very much against having further publicized her son's plight, didn't want him to be exposed or further traumatized.
Our interest was in trying to spare the victim from having to testify in this case, and we made the best offer that we could.
Deborah pleaded guilty to 2 counts of lewd and lascivious battery. She was sentenced to 3 years of house arrest, followed by 7 years of probation. For the rest of her life, Deborah will have to register as a convicted sex offender.
I was appalled by the plea bargain. I think she should have gotten jail time. I think there is a double standard in this country.
If that had been some scary-looking Charles Manson school janitor type, he would have had the book thrown at him and been locked away for years.
If it's a female teacher on a male student or a male teacher on a female student, either way, it's against the law and shouldn't happen.
For her part, Deborah expressed remorse for the affair.
I want to apologize to the court, to the young man involved, and to his family for my actions. I accept full responsibility for my actions, and I am very sorry for everything which has occurred.
Deborah LaFave always wanted to be a teacher. As a convicted sex offender, she's forbidden from living within 1,000 feet of a school or playground. Next up, one bad mother. And later, our #1 notorious woman.